Exercise breaks have been a common strategy to help decrease musculoskeletal pain while at work. Let's go over some of the research and then also some exercise programs that can be helpful. So obviously the first thing we should ask is, do these small exercise breaks actually work? And the good news is the answer is yes. This 2022 study actually found that small exercise breaks help to decrease the long-term sickness absence by 13%. And this 13% reduction was after factoring things like age, sex, education, psychosocial factors at work, depressive symptoms, lifestyle factors, as well as pain frequency. So we could be pretty confident that it was the exercise that was actually the factor that was contributing to that 13% reduction. But importantly, this effect was only seen if the exercise were actually performed while working. If they were performed at home, it didn't seem to have the same effect in this. So we actually see from this study that incorporating exercises while at work can be beneficial for someone's overall health. Unfortunately, there doesn't appear to be a lot of specifics on how frequently we should be taking these exercise breaks and then which exercises we should actually be doing. But when we do look at the research, there appears to be a variety of different exercise programs that can be effective. So it's probably more important that there's a variety of different options available so that people can pick the exercise they like to do, and that way they'll do it more frequently. For example, there are a couple strength training programs that require very little equipment so they can be performed while in the office. Generally, these exercises take about 10 to 15 minutes and they're performed 3 times a week, so the actual time commitment during the week isn't all that much. So for the strength training exercises, there's obviously a variety of different exercises that we can choose from to perform in the office. Generally in the research, the exercise programs consist of about 6 different exercises, so we'll go over some of the more common exercises and you can pick and choose which ones you like the most to do. The first one is a squat, so we'll use an exercise band. Obviously, if you have weights available to you, you can use weights. If you don't have anything, you can just do body weight. And so we'll stand on the exercise band here, and we'll put our arms up over our shoulders so we'll have a little bit of resistance. And then to perform the squat, we're just going to slowly lower ourselves down towards the ground, and then slowly back up against that resistance. And so here we'll be working the quads as well as the glutes. And we'll just perform about 20 of these to start, is what the research kind of says, and then gradually just increase the difficulty of them as we kind of progress. The next exercise is actually a really common posture exercise. It's a banded pull apart. So what we'll do is we'll take the exercise band with palms up, and we're going to pull the exercise band apart, squeezing those shoulder blades together. So we're mainly working the traps as well as the rhomboid muscles here, which are the muscles in between the shoulder blades. So pull apart, squeeze those shoulder blades together, and then slowly back to that original position. Another exercise that we can do is a deadlift. So we'll take the exercise band and we're going to stand on the band here. And so for those that aren't familiar with the deadlift, what it essentially is a loaded hip hinge. So we're going to work on moving through the hips. So we're going to push our hips back towards the wall behind us and then extend up. So we're working the glutes as well as the hamstrings. So we'll start in this position here. I'm going to grab the exercise band so I have a little bit of tension, push the hips back towards the wall, and then we're going to extend up into the top position and then slowly back down. Going through a couple of repetitions here. Again, in the research, most of them start off with 20 reps and then slowly build up to about 10 reps, so just increasing the difficulty of the exercises. And so here's the side profile view. As you can see, I'm pushing my hips back behind me like I'm trying to sit into a chair, and then extending up so I'm getting extension through the hips, and then back down. Primarily, we're trying to move through the hips and not so much through the low back. It's okay if the low back moves a little bit. And so from here, up, and then back down. We can also strengthen the muscles around the torso as well as the arm. To perform, we'll stand on the exercise band with the exercise band on the outside part of the foot, and we're going to rotate to the left for this one because I'm standing on it with my right leg. So start here, rotate, lift up, and then slowly back down. We want to try to just rotate and minimize how much extension and flexion we're having in the lower back so that it's just a rotation movement. So starting here, rotate, and then back down. And of course for this one, we want to do it on both sides. So again, starting with the exercise band on the outside part of the foot, we're going to rotate and up and slowly back down. So we just want to be in control of the full range. So we don't want to just come up and then let that band pull us back to that starting position. We want to slowly lift up and rotate and then slowly back down to that original starting position. A variation of that exercise is a resisted golf swing. And so even if you're not able to get out to the golf course because you're in the office, you can still strengthen that golf swing. So for this one, we're going to stand on the exercise band with both feet. we'll grab the exercise band in the middle here. And so we're going to do that same rotation movement from side to side. So starting here, rotate and lift, back to that starting position, and then we'll go to that other side, and then back down. And so again, when we're doing this, we want to be slow and controlled, and we also want to be careful that we're in control of that torso, so we're not extending too far back, and we're not flexing too much, that we're just trying to get that rotation. So starting here, and then we'll go to this side with just the rotation, and then back to that starting position. And here's a side profile so you can see that extension. So we're just trying to rotate. So from here, rotate and lift, and then back down. And what we're trying to avoid is a movement like this. And so this will also help with that golf swing when you're actually able to go out to the golf course on the weekends. Another simple body weight exercise that we can perform in the office is a split squat or a lunge. So for the split squat, we'll have our legs separated like this, and then we're just going to slowly lower that knee down towards the ground and then back up. The reason why this is a split squat is because our feet stay planted on the ground. If we want to turn it into a lunge, all we'll do is just take a step. So we'll step down, and then we can go into reverse as well. And then the final exercise is a push-up. And so to perform, we'll start in a high plank position and then just slowly lower ourselves down and then back up. Ideally, we're trying to do about 20 of these, or as many as we can do in 2 to 3 minutes. If a plank on the ground is too challenging, we can either use our desk or a chair to do an incline push-up. So everything stays the same, and we'll just slowly lower ourselves down and then back up. This just makes it a little bit easier because of the lever. While strength training exercises can be helpful, they're not for everyone, and they're not the only exercise that we can incorporate while in the office. For example, 10 to 20 minutes of cardio can also be beneficial, whether that's going for a walk, doing some jump rope, doing some jumping jacks, or even just doing some mountain climbers. And the goal of these cardio exercises and those strength training exercises as well isn't necessarily to push it to the maximum limit, especially if you're doing them at work, because a lot of times you just don't want to get super sweaty and change clothes and all that kind of stuff. But the goal is just to incorporate some movement in the day. And a big tip for this is that a lot of times as we're working, we kind of just get in the groove and we're not really paying attention. We actually need to schedule this workout time where we're actually able to get some of that exercise in. So scheduling a 10 to 20 minute block where we know we have to go do some sort of exercise can be helpful, because otherwise it just gets pushed and pushed and pushed till later in the day, and then it just never really actually happens. And the last thing to consider when picking exercise to do at work is we can actually pick exercise that people enjoy doing. I know that sounds crazy, right? But we can get creative and actually pick some exercise that don't feel like traditional exercises. So maybe we play some red light, green light. Thanks, Squid Games, you kind of ruined that a little bit, but maybe we play some hopscotch, maybe we have a race up the stairs or something like that. Just something that gets us moving that doesn't feel like we're actually having to exercise as a form of punishment or something like that. Just picking something that people enjoy so they do it more frequently. So hopefully this video gave you some ideas on how to incorporate some exercise throughout the day. If it did, go ahead and give this video a big thumbs up. If you want to see more of my content, hit the subscribe button over here, bell icon down below to be notified of future videos. I'll see you guys in the next one.